Is that the drunkest you've ever seen anybody wine tasting?
Yes, but he was already the drunkest I've ever seen anybody wine tasting before we started wine tasting.
That's some triple stamp and double stamp shit.
Yeah.
Hey, what an upgrade, though, coming from the dark, dimly lit bars of Belfast to Napa Valley wine tasting. I guess depending on how you look at it. Well, yeah, it is a come up story.
Also, what company dime was paying for his, Guinnesses in Belfast? Probably nothing. But ours was all comped. So that he definitely took advantage of that.
You gotta take advantage of a company comp day for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, nothing makes you crave a Guinness like a day of tasting Napa Chardonnays.
Yeah. And the whiskey in the back of a limo.
Right. It really brings out, the oakiness of the Guinness. Anyway, hi friends, welcome to what is episode 173 of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. We're just reminiscing on, I guess, past wine tasting trips that got hijacked by drunk Irish interns
the best kind of
that
interns.
we put on Vine. And shout out Vine. What a perfect social media app that was. Never tried to be more than what it was, just existed, and it was gone too soon. I don't think I ever actually posted a Vine ever.
What? I mean, Vine led the way for TikTok, but there was so much more creativity because you only had 6 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what was the time constraint? 6 seconds.
6 seconds. Yeah.
My favorite. I remember the guy who I think he was doing an impression of Samuel Jackson. It was just different things that rhymed with "all rise, motherfucker." Yeah. And then so he'd walk in with a Happy Meal and be like, "Small fries, motherfucker," or a shirt that was way too small and be "wrong size, motherfucker." And there'd be 3 of them in each video, and it's why is that funny?
He should have thrown a surprise birthday party for someone and said, "Surprise, motherfucker," when they came in.
I think he did do a surprise, motherfucker.
That would have been good.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, he did say surprise. This one was one that was low key hilarious. It was this it was a video of this I don't know, college age, high school age girl, and she rips this giant vape, and it's just smoke everywhere, and then it pans over to this guy who was staring at her intently the whole time while she was doing it, and he turns around and he's like, "Wow." But his eyes are so messed up. Here, I'll share with you guys. You can watch. But I just found it's the girl vaping wow Vine on
vaping wow Vine.
So exactly how you portrayed it.
Yep. And then what's funny is I just found a "Where Is He Now" post, and he
for the wow
this
guy
says fun fact: the guy from the wow Vine has been one of my best friends since childhood, and he has a picture of himself holding a phone right at the screen where he's turns and looks super impressed about the girl's vape skills.
I just watched it. It's good.
It's so good.
It's funny.
So good.
That's fantastic,
man.
Dude, I bet I blew clouds bigger than that.
Well, you should have been you could have been a Vine vape artist.
So I could have. I remember my vapes were so big. Greg, friend of the pod, told me that it looked like I was giving a robot a blowjob because my vape was so massive.
Was that the origin of Vapetron butt plug, or was that a different?
No, that was different.
Aaron Stevens.
Yeah.
Aaron Balaka came up with that.
That was the volcano.
That was the volcano.
The weed volcano.
But he would just leave it.
Yeah.
He would just leave it on his side coffee table with the end where you put the bag thing on, pointing outward.
Yeah. It looked like the world's most biggest painful butt plug.
Yeah, so it ended up just becoming the Vapetron. He called it Vapetron, and it became Vapetron butt plug.
Yeah.
Wow, we're starting this episode off real good.
Probably the most high I've ever been was from the Vapetron butt plug.
Didn't they just clip just that? What Benny just said.
And I put on Vine.
Only put it on Vine. Probably the highest I've ever been from the Vapetron butt plug.
Just over and over looping.
All right. Good thing your newish job is cool, Betty. Otherwise, we'd get you in trouble with HR. But I don't think that's possible.
I don't think so.
So
they would just go, wow.
Yeah.
So
it's like a good rebuttal if you're like not really impressed, but you kind of are. Wow. You should just like send that video.
They'd be like, wow, how'd you guys bring Vine back? Shout out Vine and shout out the year 2012.
Great year.
So good.
Yeah. And the movie 2012.
Yeah.
With John Cusack and other people.
The Mayans basically got it more. They couldn't have been more wrong. It wasn't the end of the world. It was the greatest part of the world, at least for us.
Sure.
Summer of 20. Was it summer of 2012?
I mean, summer of 2012.
Summer of 20.
Yeah.
2011.
2012 we all would have been. Well, 2012 we all still would have been in Portland as well.
No, I had moved right there.
You moved at that point. You moved at the start of that summer. I moved that fall. Summer of 2011.
Summer of 2011 was.
Didn't we all sign NDAs not to talk about the events of that summer anymore? That's how wild it was.
It was the longest summer of my life because it really felt like every day was a marathon. At the marathon.
Every day was a marathon at the marathon. We got to do a live show from the marathon someday.
We should. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That place is just, so, it's such a perfect dive bar. The perfect dive bar.
It is a perfect dive bar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Well, that's
Come on, Mr. Segway. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
You have one fucking job, Terry.
I butchered that opportunity to turn two. But anyway, also perfect was Oregon State baseball's start to the season. 4-0. It would have been 5-0, but the game in Round Rock got canceled for inclement weather today. I think it's just canceled. We're not going to have a postponement with Houston, but
no,
I think they went either 1-2 or 2-1 in their season opening series. They didn't want the smoke anyway.
Yeah, they didn't want the smoke.
So we'll talk more about Oregon State baseball's incredible start to the season, outscoring the opposition 48-9 in surprise. No surprise to us. We were expecting this, but 48-9. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
And we will be breaking that shit down soon with my guys, Benjamin Lawrence Sebastian Wehage at Beniel 1986 on all social media channels. Have you made the jump to Blue Sky yet, or have you added a Blue Sky to your repertoire?
Yeah, Benny? Yeah. I'm not on there a lot, or like at all. I think I said goodbye Twitter, and then the next day I was back on Twitter.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just hard. It's like
it's muscle memory.
It's a slow move.
Right.
It's a slow move over there.
Well, you can still do both too. No one's making you choose. But would your Blue Sky name be like Betty.L.1.9.8.6?
Do you have to do it like that?
Blue Sky?
No, you have a Blue Sky account.
Yeah, I do have a Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I'm in my complaining about world events
on Twitter
cycle of my social media right now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So don't follow Benny. He's a bad hang right now. Yeah. You'll be a good hang against.
Yeah. Just baseball season's here.
Baseball season is here.
Next 4 years might be a long cycle, but that's to the side.
What if
the
Mariners win 4 World Series in the next 4 years?
I would trade that for a lot, for a lot of things. I'll say that. But that'd be cool. It'd be cool if the Mariners won 4 World Series.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
4 in a row, that'd be pretty sweet, especially for a team that has never won 1 in a row.
Yeah, and has gotten to the playoffs once since we were in high school.
Wow.
You might have been in
middle school.
It was 2001.
2001. The 2001 playoffs, I would have been in 8th grade. Baby. Just a baby. But anyway.
The world had not yet witnessed greatness.
And that was the end of high school, too, so that was a while. JP Bertram's also here.
Hey.
Hi, Jay. At JP Bertram on Instagram. You're still on Twitter, right?
Yeah. I'm not really on Instagram, though. I mean, I am. You can find me there, but I don't have it on my phone.
Right. Oh, that's a good idea. I should delete that shit from my phone.
Yeah.
That'd be a real time saver. But at the Trill J on Twitter, that's at the _Trill_J, because he's too Trill to be real. And elsewhere. Yeah.
Blue Sky, Vine, Vine 2, TikTok.
When did you decide to Insta off your phone? That's a good idea.
I had done it before, like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But either way, then I brought it back because we were posting on it a lot. But we had been, and it wasn't really worth posting. So it was just like sitting there on my phone. And then I noticed I started to check it just out of boredom. So I just removed it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Look at that. Completely
I might
off.
do that with Twitter.
Yeah, I have Twitter. It's not all the way off my phone because there's times that I do want to get on there and, engage, but it's not my home screen. It's actually buried in my home library. So I have to make the actual effort to search for it. Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I have a 15-minute timer too.
Whoa. That's 15? Why you tweet Storm.
And that's why you tweet 100 times in 15 minutes.
And then I'm done.
Right. Oh, man.
I'm just having fun on Reddit.
Reddit's so fun. Reddit's so fun.
We need to start a way better. We should just start a better subreddit for Oregon State athletics because it's just the Oregon State main subreddit. And it's some people asking about advisors and classes and where to live. No one's truly talking strictly sports.
You can start a community.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. That's one of the things I can do during this episode.
Yeah, whatever.
Dude, I found my community in the PNW gardening subreddit. It is so awesome. There's a subreddit for everything.
There is a subreddit for everything, and that's what is nice about it.
Yeah.
I'm running the gamut on different Reddits. I spent a good amount of time on saxophone Reddit last week, just looking up riffs.
I forgot you're an ex or current sax player.
I'd say current, sure. Still play. Not very well, but it's a hobby. It's fun.
That's nice.
But it's there. Yeah. It's there. It happens.
It's there.
You have a saxophone.
It is. Yeah, I do.
That's cool.
And maybe I'll play it on an episode at some point, but we'll see.
You would thrive in New Orleans. I feel like having a saxophone in New Orleans would be the shit.
Yeah, exactly. You can thrive. You don't need much to thrive in New Orleans, but yeah.
Oh, there's an Oregon State subreddit. I'm joining it now.
Oregon State athletics.
Yeah. It's just our Oregon State. And then it's, welcome to the Oregon State Beavers athletics subreddit.
Nice.
It's been around for almost
50 years.
How are we how am I just now getting to Reddit?
I don't know.
I've used Reddit as patchwork in the past because a lot of times the number one Google return would be a Reddit page, and so I'd go to Reddit for the things that I was immediately looking for. But now I actually make time to spend time on Reddit. It's great for TV shows.
Yeah,
that you're into.
Dude, I had an issue with when I was reinstalling or installing new lights in my bedroom. I pulled the current light down and it looked like a spider web of wires. And I know generally how to hook up a new light, but I had no idea. There were it felt like 12 wires in here, and I took a picture and put it on the electricians subreddit page.
That's a great
idea.
idea.
Answers within so quickly.
Did you get to the point where different professional electricians were arguing with each other where it's no, you shouldn't do what that guy said to do. You should do this.
A lot of people being this makes no sense.
You just ask for help and it's 373 comments deep and the people are just arguing about every kind of wire imaginable. That's the best. Yeah. The Reddit is where I feel the best parts of the internet go to hang out.
It's true.
You can still find some dark shit on there, but
but generally, all the communities that I'm part of or the subreddits that I'm part of are it's pretty positive.
Yeah,
it's pretty joyful.
I don't go to Popular or Explore. I just find ones that I'm interested in, join them, and then follow my home feed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Home Improvement's also a great one.
Yep.
Andre Nicotina is a great one.
Andre Nicotina has one now. I'm just joining a bunch of
just different Andre Nicotina lines.
The I think you should leave one is
Yeah, I think you should leave one
great.
is so fucking fun.
So good.
Word. Well, we can kick off a beer segment here. I don't have a beer. I'll go first. I had a very nice bottle of Johnny Walker Blue that I got from a friend for being in their wedding almost a year ago. Hadn't opened it because I'm like, this is nice. I should maybe take some care with it. And then it just sat on my bar cart for a while. So I opened it on my birthday and it's delightful. And I figured a Belligerent Beavs episode works for it too. Here's the bottle. It's classy.
Ooh.
Oh.
A little dangly thing off the whatever.
Dang.
And I'm, of course, drinking it out of my Oregon State University cocktail glass. That is the map of Corvallis.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that's what I'm doing tonight.
That's
How are
neat.
you guys enjoying this 173rd episode of the show?
I was eating Mercedes.
Yeah, I can still hear the wrapper.
Yeah. I had the mascarpone one or marzipan.
what the hell is that?
Mascarpone. Mascarpone's like cream cheese kind of flavored thing.
Yuri just made fun of me for this. I said mascarpone. It's marzipan.
Marzipan. Okay.
Marzipan.
Sam just made a tart with mascarpone, and everyone thought like marzipan. And yeah, I don't know what the difference. I don't know what marzipan is, but I know mascarpone is like a cream cheese filling.
Oh, come on. Where's the I smoked pot with mascarpone?
I smoked pot with. Damn it! That's the best one. That's the best. That's the best. That's the best of this entire bit, and I totally missed it. Damn it!
You
JP.
missed it.
Well done.
You're off your game.
That was
I know,
nice.
I know. But yeah, well, I'm jealous of you. Was
was good.
Was Mars Capone the one hitting the vape when the guy said, "Wow"?
It's more like a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are eating marzipan candies, like
And an almond one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you guys ever had Mercy?
No.
Mercy?
No.
It's thank you in French.
French.
I believe.
I know that.
Yeah, they're good.
You're right.
They're just little
Have
tiny
you ever
petite
had
chocolate
Mercy?
bars.
Has anyone ever enacted mercy?
I know
upon
JP's
you?
never
Yeah.
had Mercy.
Never been merciful
No.
towards anybody.
No mercy.
Yeah.
Man. All
They're
right.
delicious.
Well, yeah, that took a few turns I wasn't expecting, but well done.
Yeah.
And enjoy. They sound yummy.
They are. They're very good.
JP, are you enjoying any libations this evening?
Just my Starburst. I do have one of those prophecies still in the fridge, but 10%er. That's a tough one.
Yeah. On a Wednesday night.
Yeah, on a Wednesday night.
It is Wednesday, February 19th when we are recording this. Happy birthday to Beaver great Kevin Abel, fan of the show.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. How did you know that it was his
I was
birthday?
looking up Kevin Abel minor league stats yesterday when I thought we were recording yesterday and saw that his birthday is today. So I put it at the top of the notes, anticipating that we'd have this published on his birthday. It is, at this point, it is now the day after or 2 days after Kevin Abel's birthday. But we should celebrate Kevin Abel every day.
Every day.
Mainly because he came on the
Especially
Belligerent
this-
Beavs podcast, but also he was pretty good at the 2018 College World Series as well.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
He was all
that
right.
helps.
He was okay.
Pretty
That
good.
helps.
He was okay. I think even Kevin would say he left a few out there, but got the
Well, we
job
might
done.
have to have Kevin come with us if we go to Omaha this year. He probably knows all the good spots.
I'm sure he does.
Ooh.
He will
He
probably,
probably was not paying for a whole lot last time.
He'll probably be working, as that will be the middle of the baseball season. But if you AA, AAA, there's probably games in Omaha and at a different stadium. Maybe he'll happen to be there that weekend.
Yeah.
Or a week. It's gonna be more than a weekend.
Yeah, it will. For us.
Manifesting this shit.
That's right.
Nice. Well, salud.
Salute.
Cheers. Slancha.
I think that's also
Wrapping up
French.
Yeah. It's like salud. And then there's salute, which is Spanish, and like a salute is Italian. I've been alcoholic in many languages, guys. Joe is Vietnamese.
Joe?
Joe. Basically.
I thought you were talking about somebody named
Like
Joe.
my dad.
Named Joe. Yeah. It would be cool to be named Joe in Vietnam because then it just feels like people are raising a glass to you everywhere you go. And then stroke my ego. Kanpai Kanpai is cheers in Japanese. Anyway, we are not here to talk about that.
This is now a Duolingo podcast.
This is dude. We should Duolingo roasting Drake after the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl.
So good,
fucking funny,
so good,
dude.
I forget what it even said, but I remember I saw it. It was like,
so Drake's logo for OVO is an owl, and Duolingo's logo is a different owl, and the next day it was just the cartoon Duolingo owl on Duolingo's verified social media channels with the word bubble, say Drake. Even I'm a Kendrick fan, and I'm just like, leave Drake alone. Duolingo, what role do you serve here?
So good. They serve a very important role.
They do serve a very important role.
Duolingo has like gone off the rails though with social media. They're like,
have they?
They're taking like, yeah, what was it? Was it Wendy's? Who was it that was like just like snarky on Twitter?
Oh
back
yeah,
in
it
the
was
day?
Wendy's.
Was it Wendy's?
Wendy's like started the like very big brand having a very conversational and like humorous tone to it.
Yeah.
Where like Wendy's would like roast people in the comments a little bit.
Yes.
And they weren't
good.
tweeting like we were accustomed to seeing from brands, and it was really funny.
They broke the mold for
that.
sure. I mean, there was that is where the whole like brand voice, brand identity started. It didn't have to be all corporate stuffy, boring, presence on social media. But Duolingo is taking that now, and like they're like my surprise brand of the year. I think who would start to like have this pivot. Like they're like an educational like language learning brand, and all of a sudden like they're killing their owl off. They're roasting people on there. Like
say Drake.
They posted that the owl duo died, and they posted like with heavy hearts. It is with heavy hearts that we inform you that Duo, formerly known as the Duolingo owl, is dead, and then authorities are investigating this cause of death. Blah 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 blah. We're aware he had many enemies, and like it's just like, and then we appreciate you respecting Dua Lipa's privacy at this time. Like what?
What?
Because Duolingo, Dua Lipa, and then like X posted all birds go to heaven with the Twitter bird logo with an X on its eyes, and then the Duolingo owl logo with an X on its eyes, and then Duolingo quote posts, and it's like, both killed by a Cybertruck. R.I.P.
Somewhere the real Duolingo brand handle is DMing people being like, don't click that link. I've been hacked.
Yeah. That's not us. It's an impersonator. We can't get our account back.
Wow.
Oh, it's like my dad who has 10 Facebook accounts.
Yeah, like we can't stop them because they're bringing in new user signups like crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
That's just a boomer rite of passage to have 16 Facebook accounts without access to any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's as boomer as having an Instagram account to like see pictures of your grandkids, but not putting your own picture on your own profile.
Yeah. I just always get relatives where like I get a notification, or used to especially, it'd be like, your relative has followed you on Twitter. And I'm like, wait, they already followed me. And then I like go look and I'm like, it's a new account? Like, okay, I'll follow this one. And then like 3 months later.
No avatar, 0 followers, like 6 following.
Yeah.
Created this month.
It's you, your siblings, your mom, your dad, and Bruce Bochy. And that's it. That's like,
Bruce Bochy. Who's he coaching now? The Cubs?
He's still at the Rangers.
Rangers. That's right.
You knew it was a blue and red team. You got it.
I'm seeing the Cubs right after your wedding, Terry.
I know you are.
Yeah. Did I already tell you
Hopefully not on the same day.
It's not the same day.
You kind of need to stick around all day. That's part of the deal. Are you guys driving to Chicago the next day? How long are you staying in Chicago?
No.
Till Wednesday. Yeah.
Who are they playing?
Ending on the Rockies.
God. I feel like every time I want to go see a team play somewhere, they're just like playing the Rockies. And I'm like,
yeah, it's like, that's a boring ass game. I mean, the Rockies are a boring team.
That's what they don't tell you is when on a normal baseball day, every other team is playing the Rockies simultaneously. That's how they get so many games in. There's just 30 different Colorado Rockies outfits.
I've had tickets. So I've had tickets to 3 Cubs games, one of which I went to. One
you don't really need to go.
But I wasn't able to make it because my flight got delayed, and it was Cubs White Sox. And another one I didn't make it. I forget why I didn't make this one. But it was Cubs. It was Cubs Cardinals.
Because you're still drinking, and they
got stuck in Wrigleyville.
They found you under a dumpster in Wrigleyville.
Oh no! I was with Yuri, and we had issues with the car rental place, so we didn't end up going. But it was Cubs Cardinals.
You don't want to drive to Wrigley. There's nowhere to park, and everyone is the drunkest you've ever been seen.
They're all like a guy from Northern Ireland and Napa Valley
at the same time.
At
their first Cubs game, trying to go crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice. Well,
baseball.
Oregon State has a baseball team, a pretty good one. And I think there's not really a better way to start a season than having 4 games. And basically, you're home away from home. In surprise, Mike Rooney shared some shots of the crowd. We love our guy Mike Rooney bringing some national love to Oregon State athletics, and the crowd showed out. Good job, Beaver fam. Y'all are terrific as always. And 4 games, 4 wins, 48-9. I'll say that Oregon State, I think this is my main takeaway. Or one of Oregon State's starting pitchers was named Perfect Game's starting pitcher of the week for week 1 of college baseball. And it wasn't the starting pitcher who threw 6 hitless innings.
Yeah,
it was that good of an opening for the pitching staff. Dax Whitney, of course, freshman phenom, is the pitcher who won, and Ethan Kleinschmit had arguably the better game, but they were both fantastic. There's no competing with each other in orange and black. But Benny, I haven't gotten a line of text as enthusiastic as I've gotten from you from Dax Whitney's first pitch through his last. So how did you watch the game? Were you like at work just pretending, doing the thing where you like move your cursor for a little bit so your like active screen stays green at work while just having Flow Baseball on another TV?
Well, my HR department's going to say a lot more than wow this time, but I took a 3-hour break and watched the games, which is why this week is so backed up and busy. But I'll say, like, dude, the weekend got started off to kind of a nerve-wracking start, as nerve-wracking as a game 1 of the season could be, because Xavier, like, we could not get runs across the plate, right? And we ended up breaking it open. I think it was the 7th or 8th inning. We broke it open.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
But so anyways, you feel good about that. Like the hits started coming, and then Dax starts, and his numbers were really good. I always get nervous about a highly touted freshman with Oregon State. Specifically with Oregon State, I feel like there's been a number of times where there's a lot of hype and then it doesn't really pan out.
We're still waiting for Simi Cooley to go off. It might be 2025. It could happen, guys.
Yeah.
I know he was a JUCO transfer, but still.
So I was a little nervous, and first 2 batters strikes him out. First with a 97 mile per hour fastball, second batter with a 98 mile per hour fastball. But the combination of his height and where he releases the ball and his off-speed pitch, which is, I don't know how fast it was, but it is a completely different speed than his fastball, and like very noticeably, and it drops. It's like a 12-6 splitter almost, where it starts at the top of the batter's helmet and drops down to his knees. It's an incredible pitch to watch, especially from the angle that the TV cameras were at. But his fastball just, it had zip on it. Like I haven't really seen an Oregon State pitcher have before. And ones where I think we were playing Indiana, where it was Indiana it was UNLV, where he started against. And they didn't know what to do with it. Right. They just look so lost at the plate, and his command was strong. Like, and you're looking at this and you're going like, this is this kid's first collegiate game and it's not like a game where it's sparse crowds. It was like that stadium was packed. And I mean, I don't know. He just left you thinking like, if that's our number 2 starter, we're in a real good spot. And then like you said, the number 3 starter comes and
flirts with a
no-hitter. Yeah, through 6 innings. So
that's fun.
Dude, it was incredible.
I saw Oregon State Baseball tweeted this out too after it was image of all 8 pitchers who hit 95 miles an hour or higher in the opening series. And I can't recall a time we had that many guys throwing that much heat. It just, no disrespect to anyone, but it feels like we've had a lot of really good finesse pitchers, calm, cool, collected, but we've just been waiting for some fucking fireballs.
Didn't Freeman's article allude to that, where when Segura came, he was like the only player to hit 95, and now we have
8.
We had 8 that hit 95 or
we have
more.
8, 8. It's 8 and counting. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that number grew.
But that's a trend across baseball everywhere.
Sure, yeah.
Just throw as hard as you can.
Well, yeah, and I may be curious to see, but they're throwing harder younger because their arms can handle it if they stretch them out enough to do it. So, I'd be curious though if we could look about like how much like the rate of which players on each team, like what percentage of pitchers on teams were able to do that, and then how we stack rank against that if you're setting like a benchmark. But yeah, it's still, I mean, it's crazy to think that people are throwing that much heat that regularly, and it's not like
it's pretty devastating.
Yeah, you're like, oh wow,
scary times to be a batter,
right? Yeah, I mean, people call Lincecum the freak, one because he was tiny, but 2 because he could throw like in the high 90s with his frame. But it was like, it was the high 90s part that was like crazy, but his frame made him the freak. And so now you just see this like everywhere in pretty much all the collegiate level higher.
This might be the most realistic of these ever, but I smoked pot with Tim Lincecum.
I'm telling you that it wasn't a swagger. It's not the right. That's not the right word. It was more like a confidence that Dax Whitney had when he came up on the mound, where you almost knew after that first batter, you're like, all right, like he's probably touted, or he's living up to how he was touted.
He was 5 years old in the heyday of Vine. Sorry if I just ruined it.
Jesus. Yeah, you did.
I'm sorry. But yeah, so Keljo, Kleinschmit, man, this is stack staff. And I'm sad we didn't get to see a game today. Curious to see how Canum handles the midweeks. Yeah. When they have a Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday game. I know they had a Monday, this one, but who would have gotten the nod on the mound today? I was curious to see, and just kind of what the lineup and approach would have looked like. I think it's not the worst thing in the world that they get to rest another day after you get four games in 4 days to start. And then you head to Texas, where you've got some big competition coming up, including this Friday playing the number 2 ranked Virginia Cavaliers. Yeah. And obviously it kind of has shades of, was it last year when we played Arkansas early in the season?
Yep.
Obviously, one game this early in the season when you're going to play like 55 games and then have a collegiate tournament to determine a national champion. There are no must wins at this point, but it feels kind of cool to know that this Friday, all eyes on the sport are going to be on that game in Round Rock, Texas, between just 2 heavyweights throwing haymakers at each other.
And I'm telling you, like, Oregon State was the only team that I watched this weekend. But if you look at the way they won their games and the dominant fashion that they did, and I mean, Xavier is not in a power conference, the Big East, but they're picked to finish second in the Big East. Indiana's picked to finish third in the Big Ten. Like, these weren't slouches that we were playing, and we are just absolutely dominating them in every facet of the game. I was looking at the scores of the other top 10 schools, and no one really had that dominant of a performance. No one really had anything close to that dominant of a performance.
Another D1 team.
What's that?
It's a no one 10 run ruled a team like we did to UNLV?
Yeah, I don't think any. Yeah, I think who was playing Washington State?
Just Washington
Was
State
it LSU or Tennessee? Maybe it was an SEC school.
Okay.
Wazoo got swept, and they had a couple games where they got beat pretty bad. Arkansas, but the first game it was like 2-3, right? And so all these teams were playing at least one or two games pretty close to competition that you wouldn't think that they would play pretty close to. In my opinion, based on scores and what I saw from Oregon State had the most impressive weekend of any top 10 team.
It sounds like you did a decent amount of scoreboard watching. Did you?
I was on the sports app.
Did you? It's just the sports app for my sports. By any chance, did you happen to see the scores for the team down the road?
Oh, holy Toledo! Yeah, yeah, I did.
That's all that needs to be said. Is holy Toledo is right.
Yeah, I you know
watch out for those
did.
Rockets.
They did win.
They won.
This is
They won 2 out of 3.
I'm saying is
the
where
Ducks did win 2 out of 3, but still.
This is 3 out of 4.
This is 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. Okay, whatever.
But here's the thing. I told you guys this is like my almost like dark Benny Twitter cycle right now. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've screenshotted all of the Ducks that have tweeted out angrily that we don't care about baseball. We only care about baseball to troll Oregon State fans. Right. And it's just like, because when you bring baseball up, they just can't compete. And then you remind them that, hey, we have 3 trophies and, your trophy case looks kind of sad and pretty empty over there.
I don't even know if
their go-to will be, well, no one cares about baseball. So I've screenshotted all those. And then every time Oregon, their Twitter will have their graphic up showing, hey, we won, we beat Toledo. I'll just put those screenshots in rapid fire in the 15 minutes that I have of Duck fans saying we don't care about baseball.
Well, you can print them all out and paste them in Oregon's baseball trophy case because there's nothing else.
There's room.
Yeah.
There's room. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Just to confirm your best weekend of any like top 10 team, if you look at the top 10 teams weekends as they relate to teams where their wins came from against the RPI of the other teams. Mm-hmm. And Oregon State by far has the best results of any top 10 team. I think I'm trying to see who was maybe like closest, and probably Florida State. They went 4-0, but they had just one. They had 3 wins against RPI teams in the RPI 26-50, and then 1 against 51-100. But Oregon State had, of course, where'd we go? We had 2 against the top 25 RPI teams, and then 2 against 50-100. So
wait, who are top 25 RPI? Was it Xavier?
Yeah, it would have had to have been Xavier.
Yeah, because UNLV definitely isn't. Yeah,
when we played Xavier twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but. Yeah, and Xavier 0-2 against teams in the RPI top 25. So now they're 38.
The other crazy thing about Kleinschmit is I forget the name of the Indiana player. I think his last name's Taylor, if I'm not mistaken. But he's like the consensus pick to win Big Ten Player of the Year, most likely going to be picked in the first round of this year's MLB draft. And so I don't know what the rest of their hitters are supposed to do, but that guy's supposed to be pretty good. And throwing 6 hitless innings against a team with that player on it is, even more impressive.
Would you like to talk about the lineup at all, Denny? We didn't really get to talk about guys mashing taters yet. We've been talking all pitching so far. How professional of us, but
I'll say this, man.
The Bats had something to contribute to that 48-9 scoreline.
Yeah. The top to bottom. I think this lineup is top to bottom as good.
It's nasty.
It's better than any lineup since 2018, for sure.
Yes.
And the top half of the lineup, the top 4 of the lineup, I think is maybe. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the best that Oregon State's ever had. Dude, you look at it and you have Turley, Caraway, and Arquette. Or I think it's Caraway, Arquette, and Turley. And those three players by Baseball America are in the top 25 MLB prospects in college. So not total MLB prospects, but the MLB prospects that are in college, those three are in the top 25. And Carraway and Arquette are in the top 15. Arquette, I think, is number 5 or 6. But did they deliver? Like, I mean, it was, except for the first 7 innings of that first game, I mean, it was just on base constantly. The only person that struggled was Craig, and Craig had one of the best games of any hitters in any of the games against Xavier on Monday. So, I mean, yeah, and they were scoring in so many different ways too. Like they're able to play small ball. They're quick and smart on the base paths. But then you had them hitting back-to-back homers, 400 plus foot home runs to dead center.
Yeah,
like they can score in a lot of different ways. And you went into this season, and I think that you're still going to miss Travis Bazzana. Like no one player is going to replace what he did, I don't think, ever at Oregon State. But like this team will make up what Travis is taking with him. There's no doubt about that. Carraway was always battling injuries last year, and he's really, within the first 4 games, really showed why he was so highly touted when he came to Oregon State. I think last year probably he would say was a disappointment to him, but he's really showcasing what he can do. Arquette, really, really intelligent with how, kind of like Bazzana was with the strike zone, right? Like he's not swinging at many pitches that are outside of the strike zone. It'd be interesting to see what his on base percentage was. I'm guessing it was very high though. I don't know off the top of my head. But that's what my takeaway was with Arquette. Yeah.
Arquette's, his OPS was, 1,000 or 1.513. So his on base was 2/3 of his at bats.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he was.
But the slugging's also impressive.
Yeah. You score 48 runs in 4 games and you're doing something right. But it truly was like those top 3 really shined, but the whole lineup from top to bottom really did too. There are no easy outs on this team, even when they were having guys step in and as substitutes or pinch hitters. Like there are no easy outs on this team. It's so deep, and it was so fun to watch.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how Canham handles the tendencies of some of these players, though, because clearly there's guys who can hit for power. There's a lot of guys who only put the ball in the air, and right now it's early. The air is light, the ball can fly, and they're finding big hits, home runs, things to the outfield. But what I am curious about is like, is Canham going to start putting these guys, or will he be able to put these guys where they should be in the lineup based upon what kind of production they bring when they're at the plate? Right? Are they going to be slapping it to the gaps? Are they going to be a guy who can just punch one through the infield and get to second? Like, I'm concerned a little bit because there is so much talent that will be blinded by that if somebody like just has hit a cold streak or just hasn't unlocked their pop.
Yeah,
and still put them in a position in the lineup where we need them to come up with a big home run at a certain point, and they just haven't or aren't able to do that. Carraway's had a hot start, but I'm still very interested to see when the power develops. Out of high school, that was the thing was contact was there. Power had more upside. I think it was a perfect game had him as big power to come just through this weekend. It's not, a huge sample size, but his fly ball rate was like the lowest of everyone on the team.
Interesting.
So of all balls put into play, 7% were fly balls. Huge line drive numbers, though. He had 57% of his balls were line drives. He had no pop-ups, right, and no fly balls. 57% of his hits were line drives. Great. If we need to put him in a different spot in the lineup then to make sure we're getting the most out of a guy that can clearly zip the ball somewhere beyond the infield, like let's put him there. Let's get the most out of him. I think that'll be the most difficult task for Canham this season. It's not going to be which pitcher to run out. It's not going to be, maybe the bullpen call will be interesting to follow along with. But where do you put these guys in the lineup? I think we've had a pretty, obvious batting lineup for the last couple of years because we had guys that had been around for a while that produced in a certain way. Obviously, Travis Pisano was a guy that was, you can move him around as he was hot and cold, and they did that a little bit, but eventually kind of just settled at leadoff. A lot of that's because it got him more at bats. But now, if we're this deep, you got to maximize it, and I'm just wondering, will he do that? I think that's going to show a lot of growth for him if he does. I'm not saying he can't, but I think it'll show a lot of growth for him if he does, and it'll show a lot that he can handle a team this deep as a manager.
I agree. I think that Canham probably wasn't the strongest part of his coaching game last year. I mean, the one that sticks out to me is Micah McDowell going through a big cold spell and not taking him out of that 4 and 5 hole. But it will be interesting. He has a lot of pieces to work with. I think having Caraway, if he's not hitting for power, that number 1 spot isn't necessarily the worst place because Arquette can hit for power. And then you have Turley, and I think it went Macias, Craig, and Weber, and all of them can absolutely just launch the ball. But that's the thing with this team is so many players can, swing for some serious power. And I don't think we've had that in the past. Not to this level, not top to bottom to this level.
Right. Well, it feels crazy.
Some of the top fly ball hitters you just listed, but also Tice Peterson.
Yeah, I forgot about Tice Peterson. Yeah. Is Tice the No, that's a pitcher that was a transfer from Lynn Benton. Tice is a transfer from another community college, I believe, though. I think. I might be mistaken. I'm pretty sure he's a transfer from another small school or community college. But he was a really, really nice surprise for sure this weekend. But I mean, anybody that we weren't saying this person's going to do great was a nice surprise. There wasn't anyone that wasn't.
Right.
Didn't have a good showing out there.
No, I fully expected a dominant performance like this. And I'm
but we've expected that before, and we've seen them not
do it. Right.
Not do it.
Especially early.
Well, and it feels crazy.
Oh, it's figuring out the lineups.
You remember against Arkansas last year, their pitcher had 18 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
Different. So, well, let's hope that doesn't happen on Friday. That dude was out of this world. But it feels crazy to be to think about the 2018 lineup and also say I think this is the best lineup Oregon State's ever had. But then you talk about just sort of the talent composite of it, Benny, with 3 guys already being named as in the top 25 of MLB prospects. We've had the 18 lineup had a lot of draft picks on it. I don't know if 3 were cracking the top 25 of major league prospects currently playing in college at the time. You had Rutschman and Larnach were kind of for sure going to be first rounders. And then the rest of the guys were in kind of the 2nd to 5th round range. Still nasty, but this is a lineup that would give me nightmares if I was an opposing pitcher.
I will say, for sure. I will say as well that this is one of the top pitching staffs that Oregon State has had too. This is truly what we saw this last weekend is as complete of a team as Oregon State's had. And they have had some they've had some teams that have been incredible both at the plate and on the mound. And this team is really, it felt like they are the complete team that we've sort of been waiting for a couple of years now.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Terry, by the way, you forgot Madrigal.
And Madrigal went first round?
Yeah.
Freshman, Madrigal, and Larnach all went first round in the 2019 draft or 2018
2018.
Well, Rutschman was the 2019 draft.
Yeah.
Larnach and Madrigal were first rounds in 2018.
18.
But so
interesting.
At least it's commensurate with that, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
it'd be interesting. I didn't check to see where Macias or Craig, sort of what the thought is of where they're going to land. Macias might be up there too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Man. So do you have your schedule cleared on Friday, Benny? Because it's another afternoon game.
I've been putting in hours.
A Friday afternoon game against the number 2 team in the country.
I've been putting in hours and hours. Everyone's at at this medical trade show. My company is, and my boss is on vacation. So I do kind of have a little bit of flexibility.
You've got it mid. You have one screen for work, one screen for the game, and of course that third screen, which is still on the webcam at Research Stadium, which is even though the renovation's done, that's never turning off.
That's right. I forgot about that.
As we know. Well, I didn't put
this
anything
game
else.
Supposed to be at 7:00 Eastern, but previously
the Virginia game,
the Friday game. Yeah,
I don't know.
It got moved up, but like
it did.
It got bumped to 4:00 Texas time because of weather, cold temperatures in the region. So that's why, 2:00. Pacific.
That was another reason why Oregon fans were saying that there were so many Beaver fans 1,500 miles away from Corvallis and no Duck fans in Eugene, was because it was a little cold and damp.
Yeah.
Oh, it was cold and damp in Oregon.
in February.
In February.
Yeah.
Can't believe you're shocked. It got moved up 2 hours. There's a game before that should be done with plenty of time. So yeah,
guys, these next couple games are really going to show what this team's about, right? Like Virginia, Oklahoma, Baylor, Auburn. I'll tell you, if we come out of those games undefeated, I might be purchasing my ticket to Omaha. That's a tough schedule.
What about Minnesota?
Four games into
their
the season.
RPI is 290.
Oh my God! Do they still play in the Viking Stadium?
They do that a handful of games early in the season. I don't know when they're. I haven't looked at their schedule other than the game where they play us.
Oklahoma's 220.
My love for seeing.
Shit!
Oklahoma's usually pretty
weird.
good, but they're down in a weird way, and I think some of those other schools might be too. So I don't know how much it'll help, but I hope we 10-run rule every Big Ten team. That doesn't. That doesn't erase much, but these athletic directors who were a part of all of this, like that is part of their job. And I want to do whatever we can to make their days just a little bit worse. So when we beat Minnesota 15-0, it's like, hey, most days I'm like the good people at the University of Minnesota and my Gopher fan friends, I like to see you happy. But when you're playing us, nah, all that shit's off. And I want to destroy you and fuck that conference and everyone who's a part of this bullshit. So I hope
we get a crack at Ohio State too.
I was mad that we 10-run ruled UNLV and not Indiana.
Ohio State got swept by ASU.
Oh, did they?
This week.
I was hearing
it's not
people
a good
say
baseball
ASU
conference,
was
so
having.
they'll be like, oh, we don't fucking care. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Suck off.
Like, oh, Minnesota's 280th RPI, so they're probably carrying your conference,
right? we're gonna get 9,000 people at our spring game. Shut up! Nobody cares. Go demand that Ohio State fires Ryan Day despite winning the national championship. Fucking losers.
Do you think he uses Botox?
Yes,
me too.
Some kind of work for sure.
You do too?
I think. I don't use Botox.
Should we get Botox? Look at this. We're all doing this, and our wrinkles are shining through the screen.
We should not.
I have this big. Yuri always talks about that big wrinkle, but I thought
is that a wrinkle? I thought that's just how your face is.
Mine hangs around there.
This is me. Take it or leave it.
Mine hangs around after I squint for a little bit. It like takes a while to go back to itself. Then I kind of
that's why I don't have a ring light.
No.
Does it make my skin look better? No.
Why don't I?
But
you just look like you're in like a fraternity room with no light.
I'm in the cave.
Yeah,
the cave of wonders. All right. Anything else on baseball for the moment? I mean,
we could talk about baseball forever.
We got Major League Baseball. Like before the next time we talk, all of our respective teams will be in spring training action. Read a nice feature story about Travis Bazzana and his first big league spring training camp, which is exciting.
Oh, that would be fun to watch.
Yeah. So I might actually play fantasy baseball this year.
Yeah, who else man, that is tough.
Fantasy baseball.
Dude, I haven't played
that's
fantasy
like a
baseball in
full-time job.
Long. I mean, not like super serious, but
I would play it with you.
Super serious just for fun fantasy baseball. Should we get a listener league going?
Yeah.
Should we try that?
Let's do a reality baseball league.
Can we do reality baseball? I forget how that went wrong, but the idea sufficed.
We were going to draft everyone from the same team on each team and own like 6 teams each and like play each other.
Which real baseball team was the best fantasy baseball team?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So it was like
just really hard to execute.
Right. It was just JP and I each with like 5 different teams. And I think we did the draft and we thought we did it right. But there's like some Reds pitcher who ended up on the Giants, and JP was like, how did this happen? And then we're like, let's just not do this.
Let's just leave it.
But it would be, I'm still curious as to like what the data would show. I mean, I think that's just like what analytics is. That had already Moneyball had been out in the world for like 12 years at that point. So it's not like,
but I think there might be something to like the way that you score a league, because that differs. You may end up having a team score really well as individuals and lead a collective fantasy team, even if they're teammates in real life, to a better record than they actually have in real baseball.
Yeah, it's
I have not played fantasy baseball since I was probably in like the 6th or 7th grade.
What? Okay, we should definitely play this year then.
Yeah. I was like
with us.
You for sure. You had a league. You were in a league that we were in college at one point.
Yeah.
None of those leagues were very well paid. You were at least in my fake fantasy league that I made a video of for the film class that I was in.
Right.
That's right.
Which may not have aged. Which may not have aged the best, but
yeah.
We should not show that.
But you spelled Willie Mays. You spelled Willie Mays' name wrong. Like you were. It had some fun bits. Like you were drafting out of JP's like history of the Giants book for a current fantasy team. So
you should definitely delete that video, bro.
And then it somehow took a turn where Terry's showing people how to make a black and tan.
That was a different video. That was the Blazer fan video.
Oh yeah, that was like what? No,
where I completely stole the copyright from the Busted Bucket music video. I just had Benny and Skins drinking and turned it in, and the professor was like, "This is great work, Terry."
And that's how Belligerent Beast was
really?
born.
He was like, well, you operated like the cutaway correctly, and that's all. It was like, I could do less with the alcohol and coarse language, but you did the assignment right. And I was like,
just 2 guys watching the Blazers game on the couch, literally, really watching the Blazers game on the couch, eating pizza.
Stop, Phil. Dude, some Oregon State classes were like, you had to try to not get a good grade to not get a good grade.
Do you remember? That class was hard though, because we had to learn all of it.
Sounds really hard.
We had to do all of the camera and like lighting equipment ourselves, and we did.
You used to just go overboard with it. You were only asked really to like do a certain technique in a video.
Sure. But like still like
your video had to be like 90 minutes or 90 seconds long or something, right? Like they had different
and I would go overboard. But like that class was one of like the more like it wasn't super like difficult, but you had to do like a lot to get to that point.
Well, there's 2 types of people in the world. There are the people that take the class that teaches you to make videos, and then there are people like me that take the class for people that want to watch the videos. Your
major was literally just sitting on the couch to be in Terry's videos. JP's best.
No, the best class was the movie class. The
movie class
like
was
showed
great.
Jaws and Terminator.
Yeah, I took that class. I took all.
I never wanted to take the class because it was in the evening.
It was in the evening. Yeah, you had to do the movie screenings.
The lecture was during the day. The screenings were in the evening.
But you could watch them at home.
You could watch them at home if you could get them. That was still when you could get DVDs through the mail and Netflix. So that's what I did.
Yeah, or if you heard it was at a red box, everyone was just like, sprint into the red box.
I took the silent era and like 1950s Hollywood version of that class because it was so fun. The like modern one was so fun. But yeah. Benny, you were great. That also I have to give credit to JP because there was one time I forget if I asked you to pick up something for me. I was like, JP, the camera equipment. I was hauling around that camera equipment for like that whole semester. And I was like, JP, bring this to the hyphy house, please. And then I'm going to pick it up and bring it back to the library before it's like overdue. So then I get back to the hyphy house and thank God I opened it before I brought it back to the library. And I open it, and resting on top of the camera is just an ice cold Smirnoff Ice with a Post-it note that says "Fuck you, Terry." And
the best ice.
No one was home, and I swear, by the rules of the game, I cracked that, and I got on one knee and I slammed it as quick as I could by myself. I for sure took my time with it. But yeah, you put cameras.
I was renting cameras at the same time. That's why you asked me. I was doing it for work for the OSU Foundation.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so I was there already. You knew I was returning my camera that day, and you're like, "Can you pick up the camera for me, or like bring the whatever?" And I'm like, "God damn it! I just bring this giant leather bag back to the library. Dude, I want to be free."
I would have
this
done it
thing
myself, but I was having a fight with my girlfriend that day, and I couldn't get away from it. Probably, so that was the reason.
Yeah, don't worry. We paid you back with those fights. We got you plenty of times.
Absolutely.
With yeah, all our payback.
Yeah, the way it was delivered was pretty flawless. So I've got no complaints.
Yeah, but there was a lot of instances of me icing you. We should bring back icing and Vine, and they would go hand in hand.
And that saves everything. Let's have a fantasy bros icing bros league.
Yeah, wait for the listeners
at baseball games.
For the listeners, if you guys did do bros icing bros or just icing in general, if you know what we're talking about. I'd be interested to hear what your best icing story was.
I would love to hear some listener icing stories.
I remember when JP, you had somehow hung a Smirnoff Ice right in front of where you walked in the door.
Yeah, that got me.
But you couldn't like see it.
That got you.
You couldn't see it because
you couldn't see it. Yeah,
the glare.
Yeah, right. So when Terry walked in, it was literally right in his face.
It was like it was like
a Home Alone contraption.
That was a good one.
That was a very good one.
That was a good one. And then my dad found out that I nailed like a ribbon to the ceiling.
Why is this nail here?
He was not happy as the owner of said house.
Oh, that was so
when
good.
I explained it was to Ice Terry, he just was like, I don't understand. I actually think if you back on if we're really going nostalgic.
You got him good, son? Okay.
Yeah. Back on the Foursquare days when you could leave tips at locations, I think there was a tip that I left from my own house that was that like had a Smirnoff Ice in the toilet so you could ice Terry when he poops, and it lived on for a long time on there.
That's going to be archaeological stuff. That's going to be the archaeology of our generation, of somebody 1,000 years from now being like, there once stood a house at this place where someone did what was called icing back in the day.
Yeah, or the at the fraternity, it was like it said something about Benny being the cave monster.
Yeah, I know it was you that put that up there for so long, for like 10 years. I did.
The best part is like after a certain point, because Foursquare had like broken off and like some of its businesses had been sold and they became something else, that there was no way to change or remove the tips that were on there, but they were like powering the maps for like Snapchat and Uber and like they were like became like a map company.
Right. But it's not anymore, right?
No,
tell me that shit's taken off.
You are registered to 2100 Northwest Harrison Boulevard as Swamp Donkey Cave Monster.
No, the Swamp. No, it was the Cave Monster, not Swamp Donkey Cave Monster. Did it say that?
No, it said the swamp. Be careful, the swamp monster might get you.
Swamp Donkey.
No.
Yeah, Swamp Donkey is something else.
The Cave Monster. Be careful, the Cave Monster.
I know. I'm trying to triple snap and double snap. I'm sorry.
Don't do that. Delete that video.
And now we have to delete this podcast episode because this is going to be the next thing that the archaeologists look at.
This is the end of Belligerent Beavs as we know it. We've incriminated too much because Benny was once
awesome
in a fake fantasy baseball draft that my professor and 9 other people saw.
Who was the player that I was obsessed with that year? Chastain. Remember, he was not Chastain.
You said it. I didn't.
No, it was like
JP and I were both thinking it. Well, that's not a baseball player, but
he was a pitcher for the Rockies. Speaking of the Rockies, he's a pitcher for the Rockies.
Chastain.
You were obsessed with Chassin on the Rockies for a year?
Like for a little bit. I liked like for half of a year.
During the Ubaldo Jimenez era, that's who everyone was obsessed with on the Rockies.
Chassin was their number 2 pitcher, but he was young. And there was a lot of
Yolis Chassin.
Yeah, and I was trying to get into a team.
You were trying to get a Chassin authentic Rockies jersey.
Do you remember how many teams that I tried to get behind in college?
Yeah, you tried the Twins for a minute.
Yeah, and the A's, and the Nationals, and the Rockies.
Oh, yeah, the Nationals. You like the Weehage.
The Nationals was just the W until you realized it was the exact same as the Walgreens W, and then you're like,
I never did, but it is.
It's less cool now. It is. It's the same W. I don't know how they get away with it.
Yeah. You can get your baseball and cold medicine.
Yeah. 2 things that help you feel better.
Maybe do passport pictures.
Yeah. You just had to move to Washington and get into the Mariners.
Yeah. Now I'm very into the Mariners.
You got to be because you're the furthest away from every other baseball team than any other person in America. So
I know.
You have one option. You can't get distracted. There's no, boyfriend meme for you looking at other baseball teams any longer like there used to be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised it didn't happen for you for the Mariners when you were a kid because of Griffey. Like he was easily the coolest guy.
Dude, honestly, like they started playing Mariners games over Blazers games on
shit.
Yeah, which like really, really upset me. So I didn't like the Mariners.
There's an anti-Seattle aspect to just being in Portland.
Yeah, for sure.
I've asked you this before, but
many OGs still feel that way.
Say Portland gets a MLB team tomorrow and they're going to start playing next season. Are you automatically a Portland MLB fan over the Mariners?
I've thought about that a lot. I don't think so. I think I've invested too much emotion into the Mariners by this point.
I don't blame you for that.
Wow, you're going to turn your back on your hometown.
Yeah.
You traitor.
It depends on how cool the logo and uniforms are, though.
Right. If it's green and yellow, if it's green and yellow, you're a hard pass.
I'm done. Yeah. Hard. If it's the Portland Beavers, it'd be tough not to cheer for them.
I don't think it'll be the Portland Beavers.
I don't think
it could be.
I don't think Oregon State wants them to do that.
Oregon State definitely.
Yeah, but it has the most history.
Sure.
Mavericks.
Portland. I'm with you with the Mavericks.
Right.
That was such a cool documentary.
Ooh, I haven't seen this documentary.
You haven't seen about the Portland Mavericks?
No. It's on Netflix. All right.
Colin's I'll watch it after to work tomorrow. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's like one of my favorite documentaries.
You haven't watched this? The battered bastards of baseball?
Oh, I've heard of it. I haven't watched it though. I will watch it. I promise.
Oh, it's so good.
I'll probably start it tonight and fall asleep and then finish it before we record another episode.
It's awesome because they played at the stadium that you interned in.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Where President Terry greeted guests for his convention at the gate.
I have the credentials to represent you. And my job was distributing credentials. I'm like, this is the wittiest I have felt in a long time. And JP is the only one who laughed.
I actually laughed out loud, like in a quiet room.
Good.
So well done.
Good. You should have had that wit when we were talking about Marzipan.
Yeah.
I still fuck you guys. JP was this quicker.
I Vapetron butt plug with Mars Capone.
Oh man, we Vapetron butt plug so hard some nights.
All right, JP, clip just what Benny said without any context for the second time. The YouTube
back to back. This should be perfect for Vine.
Yeah, this is just the Benny's greatest hits episode. I don't even remember what you said earlier, but I was like, clip it.
Something about the Vapetron butt plug.
This is when we need super secret producer Skinder to be an actual producer, so we can just be like, Skins, clip that. Skins, add air horns when I finish making this emphatic point.
Someone on the board. Vapetron butt plug hard too. He's a huge fan.
Now you're incriminating super secret producer Skinder.
Hey, he would speak to it.
His vibe's supposed to be super secret. What are you doing?
Now everyone knows too much. We have to kill the podcast.
Everyone knows too much. We have to kill the podcast. Oregon State men's basketball had a disappointing split last weekend. At Portland, at JP.
I didn't even go.
Thankfully, did not traverse a snowstorm to see what I will call an absolutely inexcusable loss.
Worst loss of the season?
Probably the worst loss of the season. And
I'd say so.
They did back it up.
And more.
Got a nice win against Pacific on Saturday. So they are 18-9 They do. Things get a little bit sunnier, literally. I think they currently have the best road trip in all of college basketball, which is at Pepperdine, at San Diego.
Yeah,
that's not a bad February road trip. So if that doesn't get you guys in the mood to play well, I don't know what will. And are still number 5 in the West Coast Conference. Pretty much the only hope is to win the West Coast Conference tournament.
Agreed.
And they do have a shot at getting into the top 4, which Daschle has outlined in several pieces for the Oregonian. Getting in the top 4 essentially wins 2 conference tournament games. It's like that equivalent. Yep. So they want to catch Santa Clara and get into that top 4. But if
you get into the top 4, I mean, who knows, right? Like, you've beaten Gonzaga. We looked abysmal against St. Mary's at home. So that worries me if we were to face them. But honestly,
we still have to face them again in Moraga.
Yeah. What beyond the Portland game, because I think that's what everyone's focusing on. The game against Pacific, we showed out way better down on the road in Stockton. Yeah. Is that where Pacific is?
Yeah.
Yeah. We looked better when we played them on the road than we did at home.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's concerning to me that this team seems to be regressing a little bit. And I don't know what to make of it.
If it's just running out of gas or if it's something else.
I'll tell you what, I think that other teams have sort of figured us out. I think that it started with the Loyola Marymount game where their athletic bigs really did a number on Fala. I don't think that Marsh is particularly great at defense, and Fala's just not big enough. And so that's what we're seeing teams get high percentage shots down low. The teams do seem to be shooting the lights out against us, which is pretty frustrating too. But yeah, it feels like they've sort of found what the secret sauce is against us. The other thing is our defense, like, other than being down low, it was suffocating before. And that doesn't seem to be the case. Sure. I mean, there were points where we were like in the top 10 in scoring defense. And now we're giving up 70, 80, 90, 100 points a game. So yeah, I don't know. Something has changed with this team in recent weeks, but I still am like heavily invested in this team. They're the most fun team to watch in a really long time. So there's still that, but there has been a change.
Still within striking distance, but they need a good road trip to do it, and you can't really put any faith in that happening. It's kind of a believe it when I see it kind of thing.
It is sort of crazy though that if Oregon State can get into the top 4, they need to win 2 games to get into the tournament. Like that's exciting. At least you never know what happens in March.
You never know what happens, and also
in Vegas.
Neutral site tinkle is different than road game tinkle.
That is true.
Which makes 0 sense for what happens for road games.
It's pretty wild.
Because of neutral sites, they have extended stays, longer stays. Like, is it just the environment? Right. I don't want to dwell on it too long, but like the Portland loss to me removed variables as to what is the deal with this team's road woes. Like, it wasn't travel, it wasn't environment.
Sure.
Like,
there's no one there.
It's not quality of road competition.
What is it? Was this one like just an outlier that doesn't like actually, account towards the sample size given, anyone can lose on any given day, but I don't know. If it's not because we're getting on an airplane and it's screwing up everything, or it's the quick, all right, we get there, we got a shoot around, we go to bed, we wake up, we play, like, then what is it? Like, why are neutral sites fine?
That's a good point. I hadn't really thought about the fact that neutral sites are we have a much better showing. I mean, we have a great showing in historically with Tinkle.
Yeah. Well, and this year's neutral sites, I believe it was just the Hawaii tournament. Were there others earlier in the year?
No.
So yeah,
that was it.
2-1, and I mean, I don't think anyone, besides the people who are going to feel miserable no matter what, I don't think anyone was too upset about the way that championship game against Nebraska went Like that was just kind
Nebraska's a good team this year.
So
yeah.
It's weird though. Like I agree, because before that, you really could chalk up if you were being the most optimistic optimist out there, right? Like LMU, they are really good at home. Santa Clara was on fire. Gonzaga, that these made sense to a certain degree if you looked at them in a vacuum and did not want to take the scoped out high level view. But I agree with you, JP. Like even the most optimistic optimist is going to look at this Portland game and say like, okay, you can't say that road games aren't a problem right now.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting. Looking at Tinkle's neutral games of his entire coaching career at Oregon State, he lost the first 5 across 15 and 16. I guess 14, 15, and 16. And then he won against Arizona State. I'm assuming this is the Pac-12 tournament, 2016, March 2016. Then, oh wait, this is not. Yeah, it's kind of in order. So anyways, but let me do it by date, not year. I've got a whole spreadsheet. You guys have seen this.
Hell yeah.
He lost his first 3. Then March of 16, he beat Arizona State and then proceeded to lose to Cal and then lost to VCU. Then we lost to Portland in 2016, kick off the next season of 2017. That's 3 straight there. Lost 3 more, then won 2, then lost 1, then won 1, then lost 1, then won 1, then lost 1, and then won 9 straight neutral site games going into the next. Well, yeah, from one season to the next. Actually, 2 seasons. No, 1 season to the next. So in 2020, actually November of 19, beat San Jose State, University of Texas San Antonio, and that was it for 2019. Then 2020 was Utah, beat Utah, and then 21. Oh, yes, can't do that. Now we're gonna get taken off YouTube.
Well, that was less than 5 seconds. I was looking
6
at
straight wins and 21. By the way, after that 21, even on neutral, we lost 12 straight neutral site games until we beat Charleston, Oakland. So maybe not so much.
I take back great.
I'd say career wise, he's probably 500, maybe 400, which is fine for a road.
One very specific conference tournament, one very specific NCAA tournament.
He was very great there.
That was
and one very specific
6-1,
very bad era of basketball.
8-2. He's 8-2 in the 10 neutral site games I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and he's 2-8 in the last 10.
Well, fuck.
Ooh, damn.
Well,
so that throws a red.
Here's to hoping.
So you're saying we can't sugarcoat this?
I think I'm done sleuthing this because I don't know what else there really is other than the obvious, and that is that Gil just brings out more of everybody in the program.
But do we think that that's what it is? Because they've played in an empty Gil, and they've still. I mean, the beginning of the season, Gil was empty.
Yeah, but there's still Gil magic.
The comforts of home. It's like they each eat 5 Gil dogs in the locker room right before the game starts.
There you go.
Gil dogs just don't travel well. So that's the problem.
What year? It was 21 was technically the COVID year, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The full year. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be 20 because 1920 was when it got canceled.
It stopped
during the conference tournament after we beat Utah with that great shot by Lucas.
But that year without fans, unless
it was
fans did by the end,
almost entirely. Yeah.
We went 10-6 at home with no fans. I think that's his worst home record.
Other than
and it's not a terrible record.
Yeah. Other than his,
other than
that one season.
Other than the seasons we're not counting because we're not thinking about them.
The one,
Whatever. I mean, is this the most healthy way for me to think about this? Probably not. But
sorry, 9-6.
It's a better way to think about it than getting really mad and unleashing it in a Facebook rant.
I know 10-6
about how they should fire Tinkle and hire some young guy Yes, young guy from a smaller program somewhere, and that'll fix everything.
Right.
Anyways, should we end the episode?
Yeah.
It's time.
I was enjoying it more when we were talking about baseball.
Nice. Benny,
Yeah.
all right. What's your favorite, both of you, what is your favorite all-time baseball movie?
Probably Angels in the Outfield.
Sandlot.
Really? I was going to say.
Oh, that's a good
Sandlot.
one. Yeah, Sandlot.
Sandlot is what comes to mind first.
Yeah.
But
And watch it every year when spring training starts.
Yeah, Sandlot, Rookie of the Year, and Angels in the Outfield.
I said one, Benny.
You know, my parents would be mad. They would say, what's the movie where he says, build it and they will come?
If you build it,
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. That was filmed like right outside the town that my parents lived in.
That is
Shout
also
out
a good movie.
Dyersville, Iowa.
Yeah.
Even the mini Babe liked that movie when he was like 3.
Really?
It's a good movie. I'd say Major
tell them they were
League is
ghosts.
probably my number one.
Major League's great too.
Well, you should tell them that
Major
they're
League
ghosts
is
because then kids can see like ghosts aren't just scary. Like there's all kinds of ghosts.
True, but ghosts
some
in
of them
general
play-
are just
some of-
scary for a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Like, no. Ghosts aren't scary.
No.
Like any 3-year-old is going to not agree with that.
Right. Well, and
Yeah,
then
my
sentiment.
4-year-old thinks Michael Jackson's scary still. She actually asked tonight if I can show her a picture of Michael Jackson so she wouldn't be scared.
That would backfire. Well,
Yeah. I
maybe
was like,
shouldn't
nope,
say
not
that.
doing that.
Would. Terry, don't be so uncomfortable.
I'm so uncomfortable. Always.
Imagine me.
Some
It's been 4
shit
months.
just cringeworthy. Now we're gonna get in trouble with YouTube again because I sounded just like Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl right there.
Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl?
Exactly
Great
like Kendrick
Super
Lamar
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Is that gonna
Anyway.
be? Is it gonna be next year? It'll be a Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl.
I don't know. I will be
We
at
should
the
just-
first stop of the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl tour in Minneapolis on April 9th.
Is that the
Whoa.
first stop?
It's the first stop, so yeah, we'll have no idea what the show is. We have some idea, but
Oh,
yeah, that's the first stop of the Grand National Tour.
that will be fun.
He wasn't going to do Toronto as stop number one. He's got to warm up for that one, but
Oh, I forgot he is doing Toronto.
he's doing Toronto, the one at the Blue
Oh.
Jays Stadium where Drake has never performed.
Oh.
Anyway, gotta end the episode before I fall down that rabbit hole.
Oh, man.
Anyway, thank you for listening to this, the 173rd episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast. Get hyped for baseball. Get hyped. Stay hyped for basketball. Come on, we don't lose our spirit no matter what, and especially but for baseball this Friday against I don't even know anything about Virginia, other than they're the number 2 ranked team in baseball this year. At the time, they will not be number 2 for long after this beatdown that we give them on Friday. So shout out Mitchie Slick and the boys. Best of luck. Keep holding it down there in Texas. Listeners, thanks so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast, which I'm assuming you did if you are still listening in minute 91 of
Thank
this
you.
truly just thank you so much, first of all. Please make sure you are liked and subscribed and have given a 5-star review wherever you get wherever you get your podcast. No matter where, Spotify.
Yeah, if you want to chat, find us
Apple,
on our YouTube. We'll chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will chat. We will do
Yeah.
it. We'll chat so hard, and we'll send a virtual Smirnoff Ice through the chat that you have to drink. It's the
As
most
a vine.
interactive chat ever. As a vine, huge night of the podcast. We resurrected Vine. We smoked pot with Mars Capone, Al Capone's long lost niece, Mars. Just so many things happening here. BelligerentBeavs.com, BelligerentBeavs.com/merch, at BelligerentBeavs on Twitter, at BelligerentBeavs everywhere else. We'll be back again next week, hopefully recapping an epic win for Mitch Canham and the Oregon State baseball team, and successful weekends all around for all Oregon State athletics. So yeah, keep your nose clean, your eyes focused, and your spirits high. We'll see you again for another incredible episode of the Belligerent Beavs podcast next week. And always, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what they take away, always remember that you can't spell ChopEm without hope. So, ChopEm.
Chop 'em.
Chop 'em.
Beavs back, baby.
And hit that Vapetron butt plug so hard.